Audio Jungle.
Thanks to God, most importantly. Yeah, my name is Oseni Daniel, and I'm Chef Daniel by nomenclature, professionally Chef Daniel. Yeah, basically, I'm the founder and CEO of Chef Daniel Food Limited, and also the CEO and managing director of Maos Waste Management, operational manager at Okoze Arts, and CEO of Events by Dan, and the founder and creative director of Dan Culture. Yeah, all these has actually been by the help of God, not me actually. Yeah, but one big thing I would love to say is that from the scriptures in Proverbs chapter 2 verse 6, the scripture makes us understand that the Lord giveth understanding, he giveth wisdom, and out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. One thing about life is starting anything, trying to move up in our career journey, trying to get one or two things done. We must always acknowledge the fact that everything we have comes from God. That's the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, the talent, the gift, everything comes from God. Yeah, basically I started my entrepreneurship journey as far back as when I was in GSS2. And how did it start? It started by just making photocopies for my colleagues. Then in class, I remember that was data processing textbook. It was not in the market as at then, and our data processing teacher, computer teacher, then it was like, we have to make this photocopy, this textbook. That is what our syllabus covered. And I was like, this is an opportunity for me to actually try and make something out of it. Although I wasn't thinking of something big coming out of it, but I collected the textbook. I decided to make the photocopy for all my colleagues, and from there, that was when I made my first 10,000 naira vividly. And I was like, wow, this is something interesting that I can actually go. I feel that I'm getting something extra than just the academics. Prior to this time, I've been into music. By God's grace, I've been in the children choir, then from there to the youth choir, to the campus choir. I really thank God for that though. So music has also been something of interest. I think I got that from my mom. That's always something I love doing, even in the dream. Yeah, so apart from music, I was like, what other thing can I do? And I was like, this is actually bringing out something in me. And when I got to GSS3, I started learning how to make pastries, cakes and confectionaries, basically snacks, the conventional puff, donut, cakes, small shops and all. As that's when I got to SS1, I started making cakes for my colleagues. I think then we make, at times some of them might have birthday, and I will try to put one or two things together, make those cake for them, even though the cakes were not fluffy then. I remember one time I made a cake like that, and my colleagues called it amala cake because it was literally like amala, yeah, and that is yam flour in English. Yeah, basically I continued the journey. It was a whole lot, trying to put effort into this, trying to bring out that God-given talent, trying to discover myself. Along the line, I actually got a lot of comments, I got a lot of yabbings, I got a lot of 18s. Let me use that word. Some of my teachers hated me in school then. I don't know, probably maybe it was as a result of jealousy. I can't really say, because there were a lot of things I could do. I was good in music, I was good in business, I was good in extracurricular activities, I was good in relating with people, I was good at talking to people, and a whole lot like that. So all of a sudden, that hatred just came from nowhere. I would say from my GSS1 to SS3 in secondary school, I literally won't call it persecution, but I faced hell. But one thing I thank God for was that I never thought of suicide, and I never thought of giving up. But one thing that always encouraged me was that even though the sorrow might last for the night, the joy will definitely come in the morning. The business, the entrepreneurship career, the business career entrepreneurship journey started. I continued till I got to SS3. As at SS3, I had developed a lot. I knew that I was good in event planning, event decoration, event styling, and management. I also had interest in colors. I could combine a lot of colors together. I was thinking of how to bring something nice out of colors. I discovered that I also have a flair, as in I have good flair for food. Anything that comes to food, I'm a good I'm a foodie. I love things that deals with food and all. And I also discovered that I had a spike and interest for art. I love inventions. I love creating things, and not only that, I also love waste management. I love recycling. I love putting things together. I love turning waste to wealth. Yeah, that's what. But I would say there was no much opportunity. But I remember I told my parents then that going to university was not going to be the thing for me. I literally am finishing secondary school to start business. But you know, a typical African parent, no, you have to go to school, you have to do this, you have to do that. How are you going to make it? How are you going to show forth your certificate and all? With God's help, I got admission that year into the Federal University of Technology to study industrial chemistry. Studying industrial chemistry was a whole challenge because I was at the point of my life I was thinking of how am I going to get that career that is going to merge everything I do together, and I came across material engineering. But you know, the ways of men are not the ways of God. I eventually got industrial chemistry. Getting industrial chemistry was a whole lot. I continued my journey in 100 level when I started in Futa, and then I looked around because I'm a critical thinking and I love observing everything around me. I looked around, what is that other thing that actually is people don't know, or people would love to have, or people would love to get, or will be accommodated by everybody. And there I'm going to come to the Bible verse that says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding of all those who do the commandment of God, His praise endures forever. In everything you do, that was what I started with. Always have the consciousness of God. God factor is number one. One thing I've learned to do is every step I take, I involve God. Every step I take, I involve the Holy Spirit. Decisions of life, the way, should I do this? Should I not do this? How will this eventually turn out to be? God, what is the next step? What is the next thing for me? And eventually, lo and behold, the inspiration came. The inspiration of making chocolate pop. I know many of us might not have heard of chocolate puff, but chocolate puff, yes, you know, puff that is chocolate is actually a whole lot. That's breeding, will I say, Italian recipes now with African recipes, which is our normal puff. Then I started that in school. I started studying in school as at 100 level, but in my second semester, because I felt I wanted to be self-dependent. I wanted to start doing things myself and all. Lo and behold, my parents got to know that I was selling chocolate puff in school, and I remember vividly that evening my father challenged me and he was like, Daniel, what is that thing that you're selling in school? But as per, you know, I never told them that I was going to start something like that. I wanted to kind of keep it secluded or secret from them. And I was like, what am I doing? What is that thing? Have you seen me selling anything? You sent me to school to go and read. So why will I bother disturbing myself about any other thing? But lo and behold, they told me that, where is the chocolate puff that so and so person bought from me? I had to go back to the hostel. I had to go and bring the puff home that same evening. And as I was about to, my parents, my dad and my mom, as I then, they told me, they said, okay, bring it, let us taste it. How is it like? I was like, for you to taste it, you have to pay for it because it's a service. I'm rendering a service. I actually use money to get this. And then my dad, he paid for it. I gave it to him, and he had a taste of it, and he was like, "Wow, this is nice. This is that. When did you get this? How did you develop this at all?" They were so engrossed in, will I say, the creation of the recipe of the products there. But normal African parents, after everything, they were like, hey, we sent you to school to go and read. You must learn how to balance up and all and the like. But lo and behold, that was how I got my freedom into doing business. Because right from time, it was always book. My father is a professor, my mom is a doctor. So you should know what that is. You have to buckle up to become an emeritus. But that's along the way, actually. So that was how I got my breakthrough into starting up chocolate puff. As at then on the level, I was already into events, I was already into fashion, I was already into planning and all. I was also into colors. I had to balance between my academics, spirituality, that spiritual life. I had to balance my business, the business life as well, and also extracurricular, would I say life or activities now, because I was involved in a whole lot of extracurricular activities. I mean, I volunteered a lot for different organizations. I joined a lot of organizations. There's hardly any events that happens in the school that goes past me without me volunteering for those events, because I actually have this fear of this love of giving back to my community. I love impacting the lives of people. I love touching the lives of people out there, from enactors to Earth Prize to Impact Your World to Red Cross to Pioneer Medical Initiative to a whole lot of organizations that I really can't finish mentioning. Although all thanks to God, because all this was not just by me, it was by God, because the fear of God is the beginning of all wisdom. And that's what I would love you to know. It is when you have the fear of God, when you have the consciousness of Christ in you, that is when you have the insight. That is when Christ shines the light. It shows you the path. It shows you the right way to go. It shows you the right thing to do. At first, I told you the other time that I wanted to study engineering, and I found myself in industrial chemistry. I can boldly say that today that is the purpose of God for my life, because I look at everything I'm doing. The chemistry, the industrial chemistry covers it all for me. Yes, also now that to my final year, 500 level, by God's grace, I'm now done. I'm just waiting for the whole university ceremony and all. And I look back and I thank God for His faithfulness, because it's not just me, but it has just been God all the way. Because the whole journey, if I say it was me, no, there was time of frustration. There'll be time of I want to say depression, but there'll be time of discouragement. There'll be time of like giving up. There'll be time of I can't just continue. It's only me. I've been trying this. I've been doing this. It's not forthcoming as I wanted, but all thanks to God. So yes, till now I really can say it's been a whole lot in the event industry. I'm an event decorator. I'm an event planner. I'm an event stylist. I'm also a table. I'm stylist. I set tables and all for events. I'm also a color consultant. I serve as consultant to graphic designers, UI UX designers, and not only that, also in the fashion industry, I do a lot when it comes to African attires, English attires, casual wears, hoodies, and all. And basically now to food, which is actually my basic my love. And also not only that, I'm also into waste management and also into preservation and storage of agricultural produce. That's I would say tomatoes basically, and food generally, because the love for food has actually opened me to a lot of business lines, product lines when it comes to agricultural produce and all. And basically I would love to say it's just been God all the way, not just me. And here am I today. I am the full founder of Chocolate Puff. Chef Dan is subsidiary. Chef Dan Chocolate Puff is subsidiary of Chef Dan. Yeah, so that's the product. I talked about Chocolate Puff at first, so God really helped us all the way, and I was able to actually launch the product fully this year. That was this year. February this year. And as I speak to you, Chocolate Puff is almost everywhere. I wouldn't say everywhere around the country, but it's literally something that is consumed in Lagos, Abuja, Akure, and all. But one big thing I would love to say is that at this point, looking back to how I started, looking back to the journey, looking back to what's transpired along the line, I would love to tell you that one thing is important: God. Another thing is resilience. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on that God-given talent, God-given gift, on that God-inspired instinct in you. Don't give up on those things, because I tell you, those are things that will definitely make way for you, because the scriptures has made us to understand that the gift of a man will definitely make way for him. And I can tell you today, by the grace of God, my gift is actually making way for me. And one big thing I want you to ask yourself, what is your gift? How can you start? What are the things you need to start? What are the necessary things you have to involve? What are the necessary things, process you have to put in place to ensure that this thing goes well? And today, one thing I can always say is going back to the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 23. To you, O God, my Father, I give thanks and praise, for you have given me the wisdom and the power. Even now you have made known to me what I request of you, and have made known to me the king matters. So that's one thing I would love to say, because that's everything I can say today. Everything I can talk about in the entrepreneurship journey is as a result of the God factor. So my dear youths, my dear teenagers, I want you to put this at the back of your mind: God and resilience. Thank you very much.